So it's come to my attention that 880 management wants Blizzy, Blake, and I to have a rematch for the supposed cheating that happened last week. Look, Blake, I don't know if you have something to do with this or if it's the weed in your brain infecting you to think that you deserve such a thing. I mean, who doesn't want to face the Playboy Elijah Love? But if it's a fight that you want, it's a fight you're going to get. So, it will be the cannabis crackhead, Blizzy Blake, versus the Playboy, Elijah Love. See you there. Mwah.
Will the defendant please rise, state your full name for the record? Do you wish to say anything before the sentence is imposed?
I do, Your Honor. You know, from time to time, I need to get down. Unwind and just bump and grind. Like get my shine on, have some fun, a little dirty, never hurt anyone. I admit I can get somewhat extra hit on the floor, but Your Honor, how's that something you get?
So it's come to my attention that 880 management
Welcome to another edition of Thursday Night Fights. And as you saw in that opening video, Elijah Love is set to have a rematch against Blizzy Blake live here at the Warehouse. Pittsburgh's favorite jagoff, Austin Hart, joined here alongside Paul Michaels. And Paul, what do you make of this rematch?
Well, this is a great rematch here coming up from Pittsburgh last week. More on that in a moment.
Sometimes go nasty, making on crashing out to the can. Fighting out of the push cloud of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This is the Scramble Smoke. Suntheimer Saturn.
It was last week at the Penn Brewery. Blizzy Blake went one-on-one with Elijah Love, and Blizzy Blake was unsuccessful in that match. Elijah Love looking to get yet another victory against the Cannabis Casanova here tonight in the Warehouse.
Yes, that's right, and the lore of Elijah Love, the Playboy, and Penn Brewery continues to grow. From back last year with that bougiest moonsault ever up on the roof to possibly the biggest singles win of Elijah's career last week against Blizzy Blake, and now Elijah looking to make it 2-0.
Oh, and here we go.
Of smoke.
Well, they're not wasting any time, Paul. They're going right at it. Here we go. Elijah Love and Blizzy Blake one-on-one here in the Warehouse. And Elijah Love has had a lot of recent luck at the Penn Brewery. Obviously, we saw that moonsault at the World Series a long time back. Now has a victory over Blizzy in singles competition, and this may be one of the hottest feuds going right now here in 2026.
Yeah, Blizzy's out for revenge, Austin. That loss at Penn Brewery last week was kind of a rare blemish on the record of Blizzy Blake as of late. Blizzy's been on quite a roll with victories over the likes of MV Young in tag team action against Leaders by Example, but found himself in the loss column last week and wants to even the series against Elijah.
Oh, and a big hurricanrana there, dropping Elijah Love. Elijah Love obviously not alone. Centurion Hall is also at ringside, so that could be a big difference maker in this match. But if anybody knows how to go up against the odds, it is Blizzy Blake.
And that may be true as a general rule, Austin, but it was the involvement of Centurion Hall last week that made the difference and got Elijah that win.
And look at Blizzy tightrope it across the top rope, and just a big arm drag across the ring sends Elijah Love to the far side. And right now, this is all Blizzy Blake, Paul. You can tell that he certainly did his homework going into this match, wanting to make last week a fluke. And it looks like Blake is looking to take flight, but Elijah Love gets the fist up in time.
Again, Elijah just kind of playing with house money here. Already has that victory against Blizzy Blake last week. And, kind of had that move well scouted.
Oh! And just bouncing Blizzy Blake's head off the apron. And obviously there's still so much more action to come here tonight on Thursday Night Fights. Of course, next week we're going to be doubling it up here at the warehouse. Pittsburgh versus Canada as Elijah Love goes into the cover. Only a 1 count there.
Now, when you say we, who are you referring to? Surely not yourself, right?
Well, I'm hoping that since, I've talked some things through with William Porter, maybe they'll reconsider allowing me and my broadcast colleague, Toddy Tondero, to come back on commentary.
Interesting thought. We'll see how it works out for you. I know you drove all the way up to Canada this past weekend, and from what I saw on social media, that did not appear to go exactly like you planned, huh?
Not at all. I wasted a lot of gas money just to be told no. And I had Carl with me the whole time, so it was not worth it at all. Right now, though, this is just all Elijah Love here against Blizzy Blake. Oh! And just dropping those legs right on the spine. Elijah Love goes into the cover, and only 2.
Certainly many would classify Elijah Love's win over Blizzy Blake last week as an upset. Elijah is out to prove that's not the case. Maybe Elijah just has Blizzy's number here.
Oh, but look at Blizzy Blake with the springboard into the crossbody, dropping Elijah Love. And again, Paul, you can never take your eyes off of Blizzy Blake. Blizzy Blake, one of the most athletic competitors that we have here on the 880 roster. But you can make that same case for Elijah Love as he just drags the face of Blake. Going into the bit of a slow cover now. Gets the shoulders down. That's 2 and only 2. Of course, we have still so much more action to come tonight, including our main event for the 880 Tag Team Championships. Psychedelic Dreams defending against Anti-Hero, who won a number 1 contenders match against the Department of Jocks this past Thursday at the Penn Brewery. So still a lot more fun action to come tonight.
Anti-Hero is certainly looking to bring gold back to the Dead Hand Society. We'll find out in our main event if that is the case. But once again, Elijah Love here in this opening contest just staying on Blizzy.
And a big double knees to the chest. Oh, and a drop in the elbow. And you can see the confidence, Paul, as Elijah Love goes into another cover and only 2. The confidence seems to be going up every single week with Elijah Love, and I feel like last week's victory has honestly propelled Elijah Love to that next level.
It's been quite some time since Elijah Love's stock has been this high in 880 wrestling. Winning cures everything. And now you see that great equalizer.
Oh, come on!
Centurion Hall.
Do we not see this? I mean, Centurion Hall is up on the apron, grabbing Blizzy Blake. But do you not see this, Paul?
Of course I saw it. That's the risk you take when you take a match against Elijah Love. You know Centurion Hall is going to get involved. I mean, you were the one that said, Blizzy can defy the odds and fight for underneath. Maybe Blizzy could have seen that coming. I'm not sure why it surprised you, quite frankly.
Well, big double stomp cover again, and whoa, that one was close. Only 2 again. And Elijah Love visibly upset that Blizzy Blake continues to fight free. A bit of a temper tantrum. And this is what Elijah Love honestly needs to avoid, Paul. I mean, you got to stay on Blizzy Blake. Blizzy has some pretty big victories here in 880 wrestling, especially recently. I mean, I go back to that match against MV Young, personally one of my favorite matches of the year so far. So both Blizzy and Elijah Love have massive wins this year.
Absolutely. It's just a matter of keeping that momentum.
Oh!
And we saw the Pittsburgh Pirates split a baseball series this week against the Washington Nationals, and Blizzy Blake looking to make a split series of his own here against the Playboy.
But still a long ways to go. Blizzy Blake dropping Elijah Love with that Samoan drop, and right now both men are down. Hell of an opening contest we have here on Thursday Night Fights.
Fantastic. This is a sequel that lives up to the original, I would say.
Here's Centurion Hall on the outside barking orders at Elijah Love. But right now, Blizzy is the one with the right hands. Elijah Love has one of his own. And we're just going to exchange some blows right here, center of the ring. Love for Blake, Blake for Love. And right now, Blizzy really laying him in. Looking for the Irish whip. Blizzy, Blake, though, just leaping to the top rope. Look at this athleticism. Grabbing the face and sending Love into the steel post.
All the way into the post. That's one that might change the complexion of this matchup and turn all the momentum in the favor of Blizzy Blake.
And you can hear the Blizzy chants begin. And what the hell does Blake have in mind? Trapping the legs of Elijah Love, and look at this. Bit of a, what is this, an inverted Boston Crab on the top rope?
Now this is an illegal hold, Austin, based on Elijah being in the ring.
Oh, we're talking about legality now.
I'd like for you to have the same energy that you had when Centurion Hall was getting involved there with that illegal hold by Blizzy.
Oh my goodness, and just dropping onto Elijah Love. Here is the cover by Blizzy. No! And Paul, he waited until before the 5 count now. Come on. Well, Blake is calling for the end. Lining up his target off the second rope and a big super kick. Catching Blake out of the air. Cover. 1, 2, no! What the hell?
Thought that was it, Austin.
And Elijah Love is ticked off. I mean, that was incredible. Blizzy Blake was flying through the air. Elijah Love catching him with the super kick. Blake is still in this. Oh, and wait a minute. Blake sent Elijah Love into the ropes, but Centurion Hall with the hairspray catching Elijah Love in the face. Blake now hooks Love up and over, dropping Love. Here is the cover, and we have a split series.
Here is your winner, Blizzy Blake!
And Blizzy Blake picks up the victory here against Elijah Love, Paul. And not only that, it is now 1-1.
Yeah, in this case, last week was a case of Centurion giveth, and this one was Centurion taketh away, looking to get involved and help Elijah Love with the backfire with that hairspray. And Blizzy Blake, as you mentioned, evens the series and gets the win back. Revenge from last week at Pittsburgh.
And Elijah Love and Centurion Hall both visibly upset, but they're going to have to go back to the drawing board because their strategy did not work here tonight on Thursday Night Fights. Blizzy Blake with one hell of a victory, and it's time to celebrate.
Folks, give it up one more time for your winner, Blizzy Blake! How we doing tonight, Pittsburgh? Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Thursday Night Fights right here at the Warehouse in Allentown. We got a great card of action for you, including a main event for the 880 Tag Team Championships. And a reminder that we are less than 2 weeks away from right here at the Warehouse, Saturday, April 25th, Pittsburgh versus Canada, Hybrid Championship Wrestling and 880 Wrestling coming together. It's going to be a great night of action. Tickets are on sale right now at Ticket Leap. Go follow us on social media at 880 Wrestling to get the link for that as well.
Too bad I'm suspended.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to now welcome to the ring at this time your current 880 Wrestling Champion, Brandon St. James!
Well, you heard Eamon Payton, our 880 Wrestling Champion, St. James just recently made the trip home from Canada after Canadian Deathmatch Crazy 8 Invitational, and he got pretty bloodied up in that match against Tyler Arrow. Great to have BSJ home.
Hell fucking yeah! Alright, there has been so much goddamn shit talk online from that William Porter from Hybrid Championship Wrestling.
Facts!
Just north of the border. But dude can talk all this shit on my friends like Sammy Suntheimer, Alao Dreams, even Austin Carnes and Tommy Contender.
Yeah, what the hell?
They've been nice to
But
me.
dude can't find someone to wrestle the goddamn 880 champion? That's fine, that's fine. Maybe I need to remind him. I need to remind him that I have gone north of the border multiple fucking times. And I have proved myself to be better than anyone who's come up against me. So I got a little history lesson. September 2025, Brandon St. James wins the Canadian Deathmatch No Ring Championship. January 2026, Brandon St. James and KC War win the Hybrid Championship Tag Team Championships. I actually have 5.
Quintuple champ.
And also, I do want to remind you that not only on that same night where me and Casey Ward won these pretty belts, MV Young won the Hybrid Championship Heavyweight title. But we're going to keep going. We fast forward to March of 2026, and I have become the 880 Wrestling Heavyweight fucking champion. So William Porter, I hope you search the Great White North far and fucking wide for somebody as tough as Brandon St. James who fucking thinks they can come to me and challenge for the 880 Wrestling Championship because I clearly have Canada's fucking number.
Statement made by Brandon St. James. Not only has gold here in America, Paul, but also across the border. Wait, what the?
My God,
Oh,
Brandon,
God.
would you just shut the hell up already? I don't know who talked more shit up there, asked you or Austin. So, but let's get to the point. April 25th, you're whining you don't have an opponent, that, you know, you always come to Canada to win championships. Well, you faced all Ontario people so far. So, I went to other provinces. I went to BC first, then Saskatchewan. What the hell's in Saskatchewan? I don't know. We also went to Manitoba, Prince Edward Island. But we landed in Alberta. You know who's in Alberta? You know who's in Alberta. So, April 25th, from Edmonton, Alberta. I got you someone that's been to Japan and is even in Vegas this weekend. April 25th, you will hear a new 880 wrestling champion, the Star Child, Christian.
That little ruffly head? Christian Star?
Wow. Well, we see the graphic, Paul, and we just saw the video from William Porter. It appears that Brandon St. James has an opponent for Pittsburgh versus Canada, and it is none other than Christian Star.
And it appears, based on the graphic here, that matchup will be for the 880 championship. So we know that the hybrid heavyweight championship is currently in the camp of 880 Wrestling, but maybe we could see the inverse come Saturday, April 25th, as Christian Star will challenge Brandon St. James for the 880 championship. What is going on?
Pittsburgh taking over, baby.
Ladies
That's
and
what's going on.
gentlemen, Saturday, April 25th, Pittsburgh versus Canada. Get your tickets now on Ticket League. Follow us on social media at 880 Wrestling for the links. Who's ready for some more wrestling?
Get your tickets yet?
This next match is a singles match, scheduled for one fall.
Don't you start. Oh, God. Well, if things couldn't go from bad to worse, they just did in the Fashion of
Fighting out of Massachusetts, Mississippi, Pittsburgh, Russia, and the clear opponent, this is No Mercy, Zeke Mercer!
Well, Zeke Mercer, not quite loved by too many here, Paul Michaels. I've had my run-ins with Zeke in the past, but even I can't deny the fact that Zeke has been on an absolute roll recently.
And their opponent.
Zeke Mercer obviously picked up victories against Los Tonios recently, but Zeke may have their cut work out for them tonight, Paul. Oh, yeah.
Representing Death Watch, fighting on a body block. He left his shoes at your mother's house. This is the Big Scourge, Adrian Kersh.
Adrian Kersh obviously has been around 880 Wrestling for quite some time now, but has a big opportunity to derail the momentum of Zeke Mercer.
This is certainly a big singles match for Adrian Kersh, who, as Ahmed mentioned, has been brushing shoulders with Death Watch for the better part of 2026, but this is a big one-on-one matchup against the fear-coded villain who has been building, as you mentioned, so much momentum here in 2026 in 880 Wrestling.
And Zeke Mercer having to roll out of the ring already. The stench of Adrian Kersh is lingering throughout the warehouse.
Oh, is that what that is?
Well, what do you think it was?
I don't know.
Zeke
You don't always shower before the show.
Zeke might need something to cover their nose. Zeke finally back in the ring now. We could possibly get this match on their way. And here we go. And Adrian Kersh, a fan favorite tonight, Paul, but I want to ask you about Zeke Mercer. We saw earlier this week, Zeke Mercer had a singles match against Los Tonios of MDMA, and although Los Tonios is one of the more bigger up-and-comers recently here on Thursday Night Fights, Zeke Mercer completely derailed all of that. Now tonight they are up against Adrian Kersh. What's your thoughts on Zeke right now?
I mean, when it comes to Zeke Mercer, no matter how up-and-coming you may think you are, Zeke is such a veteran there in the squared circle, can beat you so many different ways. Again, a true all-rounder is Zeke Mercer. Can outwork you in a more technical style, can outspeed you if need be, can outstrike you. Zeke has a game plan going into every matchup and will always do the things that you can't do as well as Zeke does.
But Zeke happened to regroup for the moment. It appears that Adrian Kersh has the upper advantage here early. And Zeke rolling in and resetting the count. Come on, Zeke. Obviously, Zeke Mercer was once one half of the Matriarchy, a former 880 tag team champion, and then they just completely ended all of it, wanting to go on their own separate route. And honestly, Paul, since then, although their wins may not have been ceremonial, they at least have been W's in the win column. So Zeke is getting the job done whether we like it or not.
And while I do think that the tag team run of the Matriarchy has certainly ended, I don't think that it's the last time we will see Zeke Mercer with gold in 880 wrestling, and we'll take that to the bank.
How about that, Paul? Adrian Kersh bouncing his own head off the turnbuckle was a way to, I guess, hype himself up. And here comes Kersh with all the stomps.
Zeke typically has opponents very well scouted, but I feel like it would be extremely difficult to prepare for Adrian Kersh and his unhinged nature.
I mean, well, how do you prepare for Adrian Kersh? I mean, it's bad enough you can already smell him from a mile away. Adrian Kersh, though, dropping Zeke on their knee. Here is the cover at only 2. Again, still to come in our main event, big 880 Tag Team Championship match where the Psychedelic Dreams are taking on Anti-Hero, that of course being Saturn Price and ADN. Right now, though, this is Zeke Mercer and Adrian Kersh going one-on-one. Austin Carnes here on the call with Paul Michaels. And Paul, I would still like to hopefully have William Porter reconsider our decision of being on the broadcast. I was hoping that's what that video was, but BSJ was out here, but I guess not.
We may never know. But Zeke Mercer now taking advantage of this matchup, working on the knee of Kersh, trying to keep Kersh grounded.
And honestly, it's a wise strategy of Zeke Mercer. Find a weak spot, pick it apart until you can no longer do so. And it looks like Zeke wants to create more damage. Bending that left knee on the ropes. Using full advantage of that 5 count.
And since breaking out on their own, we have really just seen a much more vicious, much more dangerous Zeke Mercer than we may have in the past. And it has paid dividends. And Zeke Mercer has just been a kind of a permanent addition to the win column, if it were. Just keeps racking up W after W. He was a second away from another one there.
1 second away, but Adrian Kersh is still in this one. And look at Zeke, just so vicious as they are picking apart the limbs of Kersh. Using that ankle and now bending the foot back for mobility. Kersh doesn't even wear ring boots, Paul, so he is totally feeling this one on his lower half.
Yeah, certainly not having the extra protection from ring boots. We're kind of seeing that there as Kersh kind of over on the apron, kind of nursing that foot, but Zeke, again, just that vicious personality staying on Kersh.
But wait a minute, Kersh appearing to try and fight back in this one. Has Zeke backed into the corner. Delivers a big right hand. Oh, but look at Zeke Mercer. Right to the face. I don't know if our officials saw that or not. Maybe still some pie in his eyes. Who knows? Oh. Zeke right back again to the weak spot and just kicking right back down low. I mean, Paul, if you're Adrian Kersh in this situation, I mean, what more do you got to do?
I mean, this is really tough, again, just, being grounded by all of this offense directed in toward that knee and that leg. Not sure if Zeke's maybe targeting a submission finish down the line or just wants to keep Kersh, not upright on the mat, but the strategy seems to be working so far for the clear-coated villain.
And a packed house here at 829 Industry Street tonight. The warehouse is rocking. And right now they are all cheering for Adrian Kersh. Zeke Mercer attempting to try and drag Kersh out of that corner, but just wearing down the arm right now. Looking for an Irish whip, but look at that. The leg of Kersh just giving out.
Again, it's hard to win a match when you can't even stand. And Zeke knows that, and Zeke is adding insult to injury here, taunting Kersh for a couple of those kicks.
And Zeke just mocking everybody here tonight. Obviously not looking to make any friends, just simply looking to propel themselves to the top. And it's hard to argue that they already aren't on that track right now. But wait a minute, Adrian Kersh getting the elbow up, stunning Zeke. And now a big belly-to-belly suplex. Wait a minute. Kersh could pull a fast one here. Here's the cover, and only 2. Wow. I think that one caught Zeke by surprise, Paul.
Kersh now taking a brief reprieve over to the apron.
Oh.
Get a little drink here.
I don't know. Oh, maybe he'll heal the wound? I guess. I don't know what's in the flask. I mean, whatever it is, it seems to have motivated Kersh. I think it might have healed it, Paul. Look at that. I could have used whatever was in there for my neck a couple months ago. And Adrian Kersh right now just taking it to Zeke. Big DDT. Now here's a cover again by Kersh. No! Wow!
And that was not enough to get it done, Austin, but you can kind of feel that momentum start to shift. The window that Adrian Kersh has to pull out this victory might have just opened up a little bit.
Adrian Kersh lining up the target of Zeke Mercer now. Zeke was not expecting this, but again, I guess it was only temporary. And look at the smirk growing now on the face of Mercer. Lining up the target and a big shining wizard. Right across the face. Here is the cover and ring it up.
He is the winner, no mercy, Zeke Mercer.
Well, Zeke Mercer, although had Adrian Kersh fighting back towards the end, still is able to pick up the victory here tonight on Thursday Night Fights. And honestly, Paul, in recent competitions, Zeke Mercer has been building a bit of a winning streak now, it seems like.
Zeke has been on quite the win streak, letting these fans know precisely what they think, but the momentum is all with the clear-coated villain, and I'm very interested to see what Pittsburgh versus Canada may have in store for Zeke Mercer as well.
Well, now here's Zeke.
How about that?
Thanks, Zeke. You got the win. Congratulations.
That was only directed at you, by the way.
No, really, Paul, really. Go figure.
I want to be clear about that.
Go figure. Well, give it up for Adrian Kersh one more time. What a hell of a performance tonight. Here against Zeke Mercer. Kersh, I'm going to need what's in that flask. It was good.
This next match is a tag team match scheduled for one fall.
Well, here we go. Third match of the night. And Paul, we got ourselves some debuting competitors here on Thursday Night Fights.
Fighting out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, at a total by weight of 416 pounds. This is the team of the Strong Arm, Ahmed, main event Poppy, Abu. Together, they are KPK.
Well, we heard Eamon Payton. This is KPK taking their 880 wrestling debut here tonight, Paul. And tell us a little bit about Abu and Ahmed.
And they are here, of course, as part of the talent-sharing partnership between 880 Wrestling and Hybrid Championship Wrestling, fostering a wonderful relationship between Pittsburgh Wrestling and Canadian Wrestling. That's right, Austin, it is a partnership. It's a joint venture, if you will, and super excited to have KPK on TNF.
And their opponents.
I see what you did there. Well, this team right here was unsuccessful last week in their championship opportunity. But tonight they have some chance to win. week it was Big Jim Fridge and Micky Morris unsuccessful against Adrien and Saturn Price for a #1 contenders match for those tag team titles. So Department of Jocks seemed to turn over a new leaf, but tonight looks to get back on the winning streak.
Exactly, and this matchup will put them back firmly here, of course, on the Pittsburgh side, as it were, of Pittsburgh versus Canada. A little preview. I'm sure you're excited to see a matchup between some 880 Pittsburgh folks and some Canadians, since you will not get to see any of the Pittsburgh versus Canada action next week, especially that event on Saturday, April 25th.
Thanks for the reminder, Paul. Greatly appreciate it. And starting things off is Micky Morris and Abu of KTK. Obviously, Abu and Ahmed is making their debut. They're from the Hamilton, Ontario area in Canada. I was just recently there this past weekend for the viewing of Canadian Deathmatch, which featured some of our guys, of course, Brandon St. James and KC War. But tonight, Abu and Ahmed have a chance to get a big victory over one of the more established teams of 880 wrestling.
Is that why you were up there? I thought it was to beg for forgiveness.
Well, that too, but we don't need to talk about that.
At least we're honest.
But how about Micky Morris recently? I mean, we've seen Micky Morris on the mic a few times to try and hype up Department of Jocks, and now Morris has been kind of the guy to help pick up the slack for both Dev Swayze and Big Jim Fridge. So it's nice to see Micky Morris being a little more involved here for the Jocks.
And Micky Morris has really stepped up within the DOJ and kind of just become a healthy part of their tag team rotation. You know, there was a period where we had kind of considered Micky Morris as quite frankly, more of a mouthpiece for the Department of Jocks, but he's been getting in there in tag team action and really holding his own with the rest of his brothers in DOJ. Not biological, of course. Like, you know.
It's like a frat thing.
Yeah.
But look at Micky Morris now. Cover here. Only a 2 count. And again now. Roll up on Abu in only 2. Micky Morris is talented. I mean, let's not forget, Micky Morris recently went one-on-one with the King of Pittsburgh, M.V. Young, and although Micky Morris was unsuccessful in that, you can only imagine the growing confidence that came from that match. And he is just taking it to Abu right now. Big standing drop kick there. I like this new Department of Jocks, Paul.
They certainly got the crowd behind them.
And Morris just stripping out the legs of Abu, and big hip attack there, rolling into it, and another one. What do you call that, a flying jock? Cover again in only 2.
Very impressed with Micky Morris here and just the way that he has been able to stay on his opponent. You know, we've been very critical of the Jocks in recent months for sometimes, you know, having the raw talent and ability is there, but sometimes they just kind of can lose focus. They can take their eye off the ball, no pun intended. But as of late, we've really seen the Department of Jocks really kind of to dial in more than usual, and you know, they've been able to rally off a couple wins as well.
You know what, Paul? I'm kind of starting to see the 6-7 now a little bit. Now that he's standing off against Ahmed right now, I kind of see it. The 2 giants of this match squaring off, and it's going to take a lot more to take down Dev Swayze, who's been recently bulking up. Dev's still on his feet. It's going to take a lot more to take down both competitors. Fighting shoulder tackles, Dev Swayze breaks through and drops Ahmed, and here comes Dev Swayze. Big standing drop kick, setting him in the corner to Micky Morris. They're going to scoop him up, drop him with a sidewalk slam. Here is the cover by Dev. Only a 2 count there.
Great showing of strength there by Dev on that side slam. And again, the Jocks just bringing it to KPK here.
I'm impressed with the Department of Jocks, I must say. Most tag teams, especially the younger tag teams, would fold under pressure after losing a big opportunity like they did last week, but these guys seem poised and confident as ever as they drop that elbow. Cover again by Morris in only 2.
It's a ball and elbow in stereo for DOJ, and just tag team 101 here. Frequent tags, keeping each member of the team fresh.
And Morris having that one scouted, getting the boot up. And wait a minute, Abu trying to get involved. Morris was able to drop him for the moment. But Ahmed was able to capitalize. Big back body drop here. And now Ahmed just laying in those right hands. Slow cover, official sees it in only 2.
And just what an opportunity it is here for KPK to get a little bit more exposure to American audiences. That's the great thing about this talent-sharing partnership between 880 Wrestling and Hybrid Championship Wrestling. It's great to see new faces here, new opponents, new fresh matchups. I mean, how can you not love this partnership, Austin?
I mean, it's not that I don't love the partnership, Paul. I mean, I love seeing the Canadian talent coming down here. I even got to speak to some of the Canadian talent when I was in Hamilton this past weekend. But, I mean, I must say, Paul, don't you feel like that some of these guys that are coming down here are just sticking their nose in business that they should not be sticking it in? I mean, who the hell does Robbie Hollywood think he is? Taking my move? That's my move, Paul.
Okay, you do something one time and it's suddenly your move. I've been seeing that move performed for nearly 20 years.
Have you been seeing it here for 20 years?
Well, no, we didn't have this in 20
That's what I thought.
20 years ago.
But let's not take it away right now from Micky Morris and Ahmed, who is in the ring. KPK was able to turn things around into their way now. Poor Morris is far, far away from Dev. Another cover, only 2. I will say I am impressed with KPK thus far. They're holding their own with DOJ. Micky Morris getting some forearm strikes out. Oh, and right to the throat.
Very interesting dynamic, seemingly some contrasting styles between the two. That brings a more power-focused offense.
Bringing power, but also precision. Cover by Abu in only 2. I mean, Paul, at this point of the match, Micky Morris is pretty much in no man's land. What would you do if you were Micky Morris to try to get to the corner to reach a tag?
Yeah, he's really been isolated in that half of the KPK half of the ring. I think it's just about finding that opening. You need to create an opening, create some space between yourself and your opponents to make that tag to Jeff Swayze, who's just itching to get in there.
I will say I was impressed with Abu doing the push-ups. What the hell is Ahmed think he's doing? Jeff Swayze trying to tell him to break it up. And our official was on top of it, fighting control. Now into a slow cover, and only 2.
Yeah, as impressive as the Department of Jocks have been, getting the offense brought to you like this, turning the match into effectively a 2-on-1 affair is something that's hard for anybody to come back from. And once again, it's just going to be 1 or 2 big moves for Micky, and then get out of there and make that tag.
Oh, but wait a minute. Micky Morris showing some life, perching himself on the second rope, fighting off both Abu and Ahmed. And Micky Morris going to fly, big cross body, and the whole field is down except for one man, Paul, and he just happens to stand at 6'7".
They might want to save a little bit of energy. It ran back and forth about 5 or 6 times.
About 6 or 7 times.
It was right there.
It was about 6 or 7 times, Paul. And here's Morris, and now Dev Swayze is legal. Big Dev Swayze, the freshest competitor of the match, wanting to get his hands on KPK, standing up for his fellow frat and Micky Morris, but KPK with those vicious kicks.
Was doing it all himself there, but that momentum only lasts so long.
Are you sure about that, Paul? Dev Swayze breaks through and dropping KPK. Turn me up, Dev. And Dev Swayze lining up both targets, and the train has just left the tracks, and the clotheslines are coming in hot. Sends Abu into Ahmed, and Dev Swayze with a big boot, catching both of them across the face. Big Irish whip into the corner, and a spine buster by Dev. Cover 2, no.
DOJ chant here in the house, Austin.
I'll take it. Oh, and Dev Swayze grabbing a hold now of the throat, but look at the strength of Ahmed, and he has just taken a bite out of Dev Swayze's hands. I mean, I guess that's one way to counter a choke slam. Ahmed now, but Abu hits the leg up, and poor Dev Swayze dropped to his knees now. Tag is made. And Paul, this could be the beginning of the end for Dev. Oh, wait! Maybe I spoke too soon. Dev Swayze back to his feet. Grabbing a hold of both Abu and Ahmed. Micky Morris now makes the tag. And what the hell are the Jocks thinking?
I don't know if KPK know the tag was made.
I don't either. Dev Swayze sent out of the ring again, and Micky Morris looking to fly. Nobody home. Both KPK members move out of the way. Sends one flying over the rope, and that was almost a car collision of itself. So much action going on here at the warehouse. Ahmed sent into Abu. They're holding on to each other. Morris trying to make the cover. Rolling up Ahmed. Now hooks the leg. That's a count of 2, and that's 3. Jocks win. Oh, wait a minute. What the hell? That's Robbie Hollywood. That's Abu Ahmed. The Canadian talent, Robbie Hollywood's partner, is wreaking havoc.
Well, this is all your fault, Austin.
Mine? How's it my fault?
2 weeks ago, you had extremely negative things to say about Hybrid Championship Wrestling and this relationship. Here come the 80 Tag Team Champions, Psychedelic Dreams.
Oh, and a big double super kick. That's what I'm talking about. What are you Canadian bastards doing? Go back to Canada. Alao Dreams and Sammy Suntheimer has just dropped Abu and Ahmed and have stood up for the Department of Jocks and have stood up for 880 Wrestling.
Alao Dreams and Sammy Suntheimer, the only person in 880 Wrestling that William Porter might hate more than you. Now getting involved here and attacking the kind folks over at Hybrid Championship Wrestling.
Well, this is interesting now. I don't exactly know if Psychedelic Dreams are necessarily coming out here to make the save for the Jocks, but that's what it appears to be because of the hybrid invasion. And the Jocks keeping their distance, but still showing respect for what the Dreams did. Sammy Suntheimer showing up with Jocks as well. And you know what, Paul? This whole Canada drama it's stirring me up real bad. I'm not going to lie to you. So now that Sammy and Alao's out here, I'm going to go talk to them about their tag team match they have later tonight. I actually want to bring on somebody else who also will not be at the 25th. Here's Toddy. Here's Toddy.
The Department of Jocks.
Contender. My broadcast colleague from Enjoy Wrestling, I guess, will be joining us.
This next match is a 6-person scramble match scheduled for one fall. And is to determine the number 1 contender to the TNF Championship.
Paul, Austin just ran to the back locker room ranting about how you've been treating him tonight. What is going on?
How I've been treating him?
Yes.
No, it has nothing to do with me. He's going back there to sit with Sammy Suntheimer and say negative things about Hybrid Championship Wrestling online.
Fighting out of Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, Robbie Hollywood.
Well, speaking about Hybrid Championship Wrestling, coming up here on April 25th, it's Pittsburgh versus Canada, and, well, I've been uninvited to the party.
Of course, Robbie Hollywood just defended his country a couple minutes ago at the end of that last tag team match.
Defended his country. That's what kind of stuff we're on right now. Toddy Tondera here to my right, the professional Paul Michaels. Thank you so much for tuning in to Thursday Night Fights here at 880 Wrestling. We're just 8 days away from Pittsburgh versus Canada, and I'm sure, as Paul has already been saying this entire evening, the head of Hybrid Championship Wrestling, William Porter, has disallowed Austin Carnes, Canada's favorite jagoff, mind you, and me, Toddy Tondera, not on the program.
I don't think they even have jagoffs in Canada. Everybody up there is so polite.
Shane Saber making his debut at 880 Wrestling. Well, at least he's having a good time.
Would that have happened to a Pittsburgh person? Felt like sabotage to me.
Well, I did see William Porter up there before, but I did not hear William Porter, which I was thankful for. Oh, I guess this is another debut. Well, I just met Boris a matter of a couple of hours ago, and I thought that I could maybe find somebody from Hybrid Championship Wrestling that was more our style. And I'll tell you what, I never had an opposite conversation from the conversation I was wishing to have than from Boris.
That's impressive considering how many conversations you've had with me.
Well, most of them up until this point have been pleasant. Return to 880 Wrestling, and just in a nick of time, we've been invaded by Canadian outsiders, and there's nobody more 880 Wrestling than the man who wears more colors than there are in the rainbow, Cool Ass Andy.
I think it would be cool to see Andy get a TNF championship match.
Well, I'm glad that you at least acknowledge that 880 Wrestling will be a part of the 25th.
Fighting out of East New York, she's old enough to know better, young enough to not give a damn. This is Shotgun Adam!
And Mr. Professional, my money this evening is on this man coming in ready for a brawl with the eye black on. It is Shotgun Adams. And of course the winner of this scramble will make themselves home at Pittsburgh versus Canada. Maybe this is what I need to do to get on the show. I need to win a scramble.
We can always use more people in a scramble.
Well, this man is as big as 3 individuals. The Gigabyte Grizzly Brohemoth has had his opportunities to strap gold around his waist at 880 Wrestling, but in those moments have come up short. Now to lock in their position for Pittsburgh versus Canada on the 25th, all these individuals have to first fight one another, and the winner goes after the TNF championship that Marco Narciso holds.
You think you still want to be in this match, Toddy, knowing the Gigabyte Grizzlies in there?
Yeah, because he's a friend.
No friends in a scramble.
Yes, Austin Carnes and myself, we will be officially barred from being on the on-broadcast commentary the whole next week, Thursday, and of course, Pittsburgh versus Canada on Friday. They can't bar me from being here, just from speaking, I guess.
That's true, and I did have the luxury of selecting my broadcast partner for that event. And just to remind anyone who did not hear that announcement last week, Eamon Payton and I will be your broadcast team for Pittsburgh versus Canada Saturday, April 25th. I do have the authority to do that. But you're right, Toddy. You're not necessarily outright banned for that event. I haven't talked to anyone yet to find out who's taking tickets at the door, but if you're interested in that, that seems like a good opportunity.
My goodness. You're giving Eamon a bad name. Do you know that? The Wise Owl is a friend to all of us, and you're putting him in a pretty bad position come the 25th.
I'm giving Eamon a tremendous opportunity, and what a tremendous opportunity it will be for the winner of this matchup, who will challenge Marco Narciso for the TNF Championship at that event as well.
Shane Saber. They call him the Northern Ace. He's recently been in there with Steve Macklin. Had an opportunity to go one-on-one with Mike Outlaw, a Glory Pro. Other than Brohemoth, the Gigabyte Grizzly, I think Shane Saber is one you got to look out for. And, of course, Shotgun Adams, too. I mean, a lot of favorites. Could you pick one?
It's very hard to pick one. I think it's such a wild card having half of this grouping here, you know, from the Canadian promotions, because you certainly don't have the same level of familiarity with them as you do with the folks that you might take on a semi-regular basis on TNF.
Well, two individuals that are familiar with one another are in there, two of Hybrid's finest, Robbie Hollywood and Shane Saber. Now, we've talked often about the situation that I believe that Robbie Hollywood started. Robbie Hollywood is the reason Austin Carnes and I are banned from the broadcast next week. But I don't know if Robbie's going to make it if he's in there one-on-one against Bro.
Well, it's interesting to blame Robbie Hollywood for your own actions and the things
actions
on commentary to jeopardize this entire talent-sharing partnership.
I'm more of a Wheel of Fortune person rather than Jeopardy. Speaking about spinning the wheel and taking a chance, Boris is in there, chopping down the tree, limb by limb of Brohemoth. Shotgun dropkick from the basement. And the young man with green suspenders attempting to hype up this crowd, but, well, that's why they call him Cool Ass. Hip toss by Cool Ass Andy. An Ohio native that we have accepted, one of our brothers here in Pittsburgh. Was a big part of our experiences in Cleveland as well. I think Cool Ass Andy always brings something to every locker room he's in. He's fun to hang out with. You imagine Cool Ass Andy and Marco Narciso battling for the neon gold.
Certainly would be a matchup. I think any one of these six would be an extremely interesting opponent, and there would be a very interesting story for each one. Of course, Brohemoth on the outside. You mentioned last month at Paint It Black 2 had earned a TNF championship match against Marco in a battle royal, but failed to capture the championship at the following TNF. And now Shotgun Adams.
Tripped up by Robbie Hollywood. Trying to steal the spotlight is Robbie Hollywood, like a bat out of hell, into the front row. Knocking over Cool Ass Andy and Shane Saber. And Brohemoth is there to clean up the scrap pit. Here comes Shoddy. Got caught up on the apron, but it is effective. Shotgun Adams, eye black and all. You're not used to seeing Shotgun Adams fly through the rope with an opportunity for number one contendership, the neon gold on the line. He's pulling out all the stops.
And now wisely getting just one opponent in Andy back in the ring to effectively turn this into a one-on-one match. It's one fall to a finish. You don't want everybody out there that can potentially break up the count. There's 4 people outside that could break up the count if you get them involved in this matchup.
Oh, shotgun, high risk, high reward, shoulder tackle. The big man makes a cover, but Hollywood. There is something to be said about Robbie Hollywood. He's quite agile, quite springy, a tattletale. I mean, the list goes on.
Well, I was about to compliment you for the nice things that you were able to say, but you had to get that little dig in there at the end.
Oh, cutter. Just wish William Porter would reconsider. Uh-oh. Well, you said it yourself, Paul. There are no friends in a scramble, and our Canadian mates now are at each other's throats.
Only one winner, only one person gets to represent either 880 Wrestling or Hyper Championship Wrestling in that championship match.
Using each other as a battering ram. 2, oh my goodness. But that was a double cover.
Again, Toddy, a matchup like this sometimes is honestly way more about strategy than it is about skill. It's about picking your spot, finding an opening to kind of almost any victory that you have in a matchup like this is borderline stolen.
In-ring awareness is at the utmost importance. Body mechanics. Oh, speaking of, the garage is open for Brohemoth. Oh. Using our Canadian frenemies, let's call them, against one another. And we saw Shotgun Adams climb those ropes before. And wait a second. The Gigabyte Grizzly climbing the turnbuckle himself. We remember Brohemoth in the past has had eliminator challenges for the 880 championship. Oh, goodness. Paul, what do we have here?
So we might have a temporary alliance to maybe take Brohemoth out of this one.
I mean, up on that top turnbuckle, they're almost as high as the ceiling. Robbie Hollywood. Oh, wait a second. Shotgun Adams. Bro slips down, leaving Shoddy to pick up the pieces. Fisherman suplex, almost like a fisherman buster, but Shane Saber has had time to recover. Oh! Collision in center field, and all these individuals are down.
Okay, now Andy's here ready to capitalize. Doing a little math there. He should cover somebody.
Oh, well. I guess that was an option, but I think the party had already started.
That's cool, I guess.
Oh, Saber and Boris are up. Like shot out of the cannon, both of these are. Big rodeo DDT. A little bit too much showboating when the crews didn't leave the dock. Oh! Big Death Valley driver. Oh! Bit of a slop drop there from poor ass Andy. You're 3 seconds away from being a #1 contender. Begging him off is Robbie Hollywood. Step up in Zaguri, meets its mark. Oh, a Carnes breaker used by Robbie Hollywood there.
Give me a break.
Well, there's only one individual that used a moveset like that in 880 wrestling, and it's Pittsburgh's favorite Jagoff. Oh! The MMD, could this solidify a victory? Boris is there to help out Hollywood. Big shot from behind Hollywood and Boris, double teaming the Gigabyte Grizzly. The monstrosity that is Brohemoth, you might need 3 people. Oh! And as I said that, firing forearm shivers back is Brohemoth.
Certainly doing it himself here, but to your earlier point, again, someone with the size of Brohemoth always has a little bit of a target on his back in a matchup like this.
Big harpoon spear by the Northern Ace. Wait a second. Oh! Gigantic clothesline. And it looks like the hybrid locker room isn't quite together. Hollywood's got him too. Only a 2 count. Hope Will Porter is watching all these activities. His boys beating each other up. Oh! Quick cover. 2. Bring it up.
Here is your winner and the number 1 contender for the TNF Championship, Shane Saber.
Shane Saber makes his debut at 880 Wrestling, and the Northern Ace walks out of the number 1 contendership for the TNF title as champion. And Shane Saber is, there we go.
Great sportsmanship there. Wait a second here.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even see Marco walk in. Where has Narciso been all day long? I guess backstage looking at the monitor.
Well, we now know that Marco Narciso will defend the TNF Championship Saturday, April 25th at Pittsburgh versus Canada against the new number 1 contender here, Shane Saber. And Marco's here to get a close-up look at his next challenger.
Narciso always loves when men fight over him, especially in a scramble situation. Oh, come on now.
I thought you'd be a fan of that, Toddy. You love disrespecting all the Canadian folks.
Who said I loved that? Well, in 8 days at Pittsburgh versus Canada, 880 Wrestling versus Hybrid Championship Wrestling, right here at the warehouse, Marco Narciso defends the neon gold against the Northern Ace, Shane Saber.
And we learned earlier tonight that Christian Starr will face Brandon St. James for the 880 championship. So now that's 2 opportunities that Hybrid will have to bring 880 gold back up north to Canada.
That's 2 opportunities from Hybrid Championship Wrestling, and they haven't given Austin and I 1 opportunity to even be on the broadcast.
Yeah, I'll have to let you know how they do.
Oh, great, thanks.
I've actually gotten word that matchup, Shane Saber versus Marco Narciso for the TNF Championship, will go down next Saturday, April 25th, right here at the warehouse for Pittsburgh versus Canada. Tickets are on sale right now. Get them on Ticket Leap. Also follow us on social media at 880 Wrestling. Folks, before we continue on tonight, we want to give some thank yous to some folks here who make Thursday night fights happen each and every week. They are the unsung heroes of this company, and we want to give them a big round of applause. First and most importantly, give it up to Sidekick Media Services, John Blizzy, and the entire crew who broadcast us every week on IndyWrestling.Live and on YouTube. I also want to give a shout out to Sound. Give it up to the emotional support twin, Wayne Alexander.
And D.
I also want to thank our lighting crew for this evening, Zane and Aaron, the Woods family, do a fantastic job each and every time in our presentation. I'd like to thank our commentary team for this evening. Now, I have been informed that me and this next person will be the commentary team for Saturday, April 25th, Pittsburgh versus Canada. Kind of went over management's head a little bit through William Porter, but give it up for professional Paul Michaels.
I hear some booze in there.
Get some space,
but we are glad to have them this week. Give it up for Pittsburgh's favorite jagoff, Austin Barnes.
my boy. That's my boy.
And of course, the voice of 880 Wrestling, Tommy Tondera!
Yes.
I would like to thank as well our referees for this evening, Tony Leo, Scotty Davidson, JD Weiber, who have been doing a fantastic job calling the action all night. I also want to thank our sponsors for this evening, Respond Contracting and Landscaping. Go visit them for your home renovation needs. Also, shout out to Arnold Glass and Vape, right outside of New Kensington. Go visit them for some of your extracurricular activities. We will not judge. And last but not least, my name is Aiden Payton. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to host this evening.
It's my partner right there, Eamon.
Now with that out of the way, are you ready for some more wrestling?
Our partner, Eamon.
This next match is a singles match scheduled for one fall.
Your partner, interesting.
It's weird though, it's not exactly what I told him to say about me.
Well, on with the show. Coming out next is somebody with a big, bad attitude.
Introducing first, fighting out of Columbus, Ohio, this is the Flower Child, Theo Strong!
Theo Strong is everything but a flower child here at 880 Wrestling. Our weekly audience is scared of this man. A big win last Thursday at Penn Brewery. And as the city looked over 880 Wrestling, the first W and the win column for Theo Strong was at Penn Brewery. What are your feelings on Theo Strong?
I have strong feelings about Theo, no pun intended. That big victory at Penn Brewery. And then we also saw Theo take KC War to the limit, despite not being in a winning effort.
Fighting out of Tucson, Arizona, this is Electric CJ Monroe!
An Electric CJ Monroe coming to the squared circle. CJ Monroe didn't have exactly the time of his life at Penn Brewery like Theo Strong did. Liberty L, the former TNF champion, laid out a slew of our roster. She's even put her hands on me in the past. And right now, CJ Monroe attempting to get back on the winner's track. Well, CJ Monroe, in their short career here at 880 Wrestling, has had a lot of opportunities. Now, maybe there have been more losses than wins for CJ Monroe, but don't forget, an Electric, the static that comes from CJ Monroe. It only takes 3 seconds to win a match. And Zeke Mercer was on the other hands of CJ Monroe not too long ago.
That's true. I think that might be the last time I've seen Zeke Mercer lose a match, quite frankly. And it only happened because Zeke had to take a phone call in the middle of the match.
Well, Brianna Bands, I mean, her time it's very slim. So she's calling and there's a live event, you still pick up for Miss Bands. Right now, jockeying for position is Theo Strong. But Theo Strong looking to stay on that same pace. Finally got himself a victory at 880 Wrestling and does not want to hinder his own momentum. Last week was more of a multi-person scramble opportunity that Theo Strong was victorious in. This is more focused in a one-on-one match. Only had to plan for one individual this week.
And Theo Strong is just so much more impressive, I think, than that win-loss record would indicate. I mean, he has been going up against some of the best and the brightest in 880 Wrestling. I had a war with MV Young, I already mentioned, took KC War to the limit in a hardcore environment, which very few people can say they've been able to do, quite frankly.
Yeah, what a match that was. If you didn't catch that out, that was a special Wednesday night fights. Theo Strong in there with Casey War. Casey War at home was a part of Canadian Deathmatch this past weekend with the Crazy 8 Invitational. Our boys in the fourth line bled buckets up there. Soon available on IWTV. And the pace of Theo is often methodical. Wants his opponents to feel every bit of hate that he throws their way. Arm drag takeover, and there's that spark. There's that spark I talked about with CJ.
The pace of CJ is anything but methodical.
You know, they call him electric for a reason. Switching gears right now. Suplex. Cover. And CJ Monroe has smarts about him, has an early in-ring awareness, a quick cover over the veteran Theo Strong.
Theo just taking a quick breath to the outside, trying to collect himself. He was not ready for that flurry of offense from the electric CJ Monroe, and now CJ outside of the ring and might be in hot pursuit.
Yeah, Theo taking his time. Takes a little smarts to see that one coming, but knowing how Theo is, CJ Monroe, little tit for tat, but nothing beats that brute force of a hard clothesline, flipping CJ Monroe end over end.
And inside out, and the momentum now on the side of Theo Strong, bringing a little bit of a hush across the building.
Oh, well.
Kind of really taking him out of it, and just makes that chop all the more audible.
Big frying pan chop to the chest. You know, someone wise once said it should only take one. And this is the bravado. This is the cadence. This is the wheelhouse that Theo Strong likes to work out of. It's his own pace. Taking too much time. I'm sure you can hear that in your headset. Was that a poke of the eye? I guess referee Tony Leo, it's at his discretion. Sky high.
Yeah, the legality of that eye poke somewhat in question, but the effectiveness is not. And it brought Theo right back into this one.
Just a 2 count. And let's not forget our big main event tonight on Thursday Night Fights. Psychedelic Dreams, Anti-Hero, 880 Tag Team Championships on the line. And speaking of Penn Brewery, Anti-Hero qualifying for the #1 contendership there.
Anti-Hero will be looking to bring championship gold back to the Dead Hand Society in that main event. DHS has been, gold has been absent from DHS since Paint It Black 2, when the trigger finger Nick's Wild lost the 880 championship to Brandon St. James, and we have not seen them since.
I think Theo Strong wasn't expecting the fight that CJ Monroe was putting up tonight. Talking so much like he's got peanut butter in his mouth. Reversal, up and over, landing on his feet. Big strikes, big back elbow by Monroe. Caught, release, German suplex. And Theo Strong looking Paul to catch his breath a little bit.
Yeah, again, when you face someone like the electric CJ Monroe who just will bring the offense to you in rapid fire succession, it's nice to just take a little bit of a breather here.
But I'll tell you what, if Theo Strong takes some time to give himself a breather, what do you think that does to CJ Monroe? It gives him an opportunity to get himself back in it. And someone like CJ Monroe is always used to fighting from underneath. And a big knee strike. Come on, CJ. Big forearm shot. What a moment this could be for a young Monroe here at the warehouse. 2 count.
Surprisingly close to ending it there. CJ wants to use a challenge there and say that it was a 3 count.
That's a Paul move right there. I don't know that CJ needed a challenge. Was just a bit surprised. I think CJ Monroe deciding internally what the next steps are in this contest. Oh, big splash. I didn't expect that from the smaller competitor to use his weight and throw himself around like that. Oh, caught DDT. Was looking for the DDT, caught up at the pass. Oh, a big nectar collector. And we need a spatula. Strong wins. Victories in a row. 3 would be a pattern, but the flower child, Theo Strong, victorious again on Thursday Night Fights.
And again, just that iron sharpens iron type mentality of Theo brushing shoulders with some of the best we have in IndyWrestling, taking them to the limit even in losing efforts. That experience starting to pay dividends, and Theo becoming a bit of a fixture here in the win column.
Soaking in the hate of the warehouse like a sponge. A man you got to look out for at 880 Wrestling, Theo Strong.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's really Team Pittsburgh, if you catch my drift.
He's not Team Canada either. What assumptions are you making?
I didn't say he was Team Canada.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got one final match for you. Who's ready for your main event of the evening? This match is a tag team match scheduled for 1 fall. And it is for the 880 Wrestling Tag Team Championship.
Three big bad men on the way to the ring, backed by the Viking rover Gunnar Bergman. Stalwarts of the United States independent wrestling scene and beyond. Saturn Price, Aaron Daniel Norman, representing the Dead Hand Society in Anti-Hero this evening.
Yeah, just one of these 3 is scary enough. This is a triumvirate of pure fear. And again, Anti-Hero, the team of Saturn Price and Aaron Daniel Norman, looking to bring championship gold back to the Dead Hand Society.
Loose. Sammy Suntheimer, Alao Dreams, accompany the ring by Billy the Alien. We saw Psychedelic Dreams out here a little bit earlier before to cut the nonsense between Team Canada and 880 Wrestling.
I'm glad Sammy Suntheimer is taking a break from posting all sorts of negative things about William Porter and Hybrid Championship Wrestling on social media to defend the 880 Tag Team Championships in our main event here tonight.
William Porter was a no-show tonight. They said they were going to offer an apology to Austin and I. I don't see William anywhere.
You You've never been sick before?
Your referee for this contest, J.D. Riper. Introducing first, to my left, the challengers, accompanied to the ring by Go Bergman, representing the Dead Hand Society. They are the team of the Dream, Aaron Daniel Norman. His partner, the Peanut Butter Zombie, Saturn Price. Together, they are anti-heroes. And their opponents, to my right, accompanied to the ring by Billy the Alien. They are the current reigning and defending 880 Wrestling Tag Team Champions. The Prophecy, Alao Dreams, the Psychedelic Prince, Sammy Suntheimer. Together, they are Psychedelic Dreams.
What an ovation for the two-time running 880 Tag Team Champions. Oh, come on. Big JD, you don't got to put up with them. Billy the Alien sitting front row tonight.
Well, absolutely zero disrespect intended to Billy the Alien. But having said that, I think I would much rather have Gunnar Bergman in my corner in a main event.
Be that as it may, Billy the Alien kind of sporting a similar hairstyle to one William Porter.
That was uncalled for.
Both of the bald community. Alao Dreams going to start everything off here with the Peanut Butter Zombie Saturn Price. We've never really seen the cohesion between two individuals at 880 Wrestling like the cohesion between Saturn Price and ADN. As a tag team, they've encompassed 7 championships in over 5 promotions. These two dripped in gold, both here in the States and internationally. And not just in physical height and in physical weight, but this tag team of Anti-Hero might be the stiffest competition that Psychedelic Dreams and Billy the Alien have seen.
We're seeing great tandem offense in the early going here from Psychedelic Dreams. Certainly can't sleep on them, the run they've had as 880 Tag Team Champions. The size edge, the strength edge, the experience edge.
The team edge.
Anti-Hero seemingly checks all of the boxes when it comes to who's the favorite in this matchup.
Yeah, you can't teach the size of Anti-Hero. The current New Era Tag Team Champions. Now looking to collect gold in Pittsburgh for the first time, but not if their coconuts hit into one another. Sammy Suntheimer, like a firecracker, flowing through the galaxy. Against the ropes. Oh, big cross body. Oh, the ground and pound offense isn't something that I expected from Psychedelic Dreams, because if this is really about a test of strength, you have to think the vets and Anti-Hero have it.
Yeah, not seemingly not the style of match that they want to have here. Though at the same time, maybe the thought process is that's not what Anti-Hero was expecting from them.
Yeah, Psychedelic Dreams is certainly hard to plan for. Oh, come on now. In comes the Peanut Butter Zombie. Coming up in a one-on-one match with Big Ron Bass Jr. over in the Midwest. I think a lot of the times here at 880 Wrestling, we forget how well-traveled Anti-Hero are. Now, I think the favor is in Psychedelic Dreams to find any type of slim opening to get these two big rhinoceroses down. Oh, come on now. Gunnar Bergman has got to be the most intimidating figure to ever grace his shadow at 880 Wrestling, but tonight it's all jokes over there with him, laughing it up.
I'm glad I'm on his good side, but in any event, certainly changing the complexion of this match, and Toddy, the momentum is very clearly with the challengers, so as I say that...
Yeah, of course, it's a commentator's curse, but then I cursed myself. Oh, goodness. Yeah, I don't know that you're going to win a chop battle with Saturn Price.
I was about to say, I think Saturn's probably hurt more.
But look at the anger on Sammy Suntheimer's face. I mean, Sammy understands that their championship title reign is in jeopardy. And though William Porter thinks otherwise of them as well, they are still scheduled to be here for Pittsburgh versus Canada in 8 days, unlike myself or Austin Carnes.
I'm glad you pointed it out so I didn't have to.
I'm starting to think about William Porter as a whole, and maybe not only does William Porter represent Hybrid Championship Wrestling, but does Will have anything to do with Anti-Hero and the Dead Hand Society? I mean, we're 8 days away from one of the biggest shows we've ever had here at 880 Wrestling, and Psychedelic Dreams is in there with two big boys.
Well, I have news for you, Toddy. I mean, we have this joint partnership with Hybrid Championship Wrestling, and that does not end come Saturday, April 25th. So I would maybe be careful. I know that maybe you feel like you have nothing to lose because you're not going to be here next week, but I don't know. William Porter might have the authority to keep you off commentary a little bit longer. So I maybe back off a little bit.
Why would William Porter have the authority to do that? That's awful big of you, Paul. I mean, we invited you into our home here because of your professionalism. And this is what we get back. I think Austin might have been right about you.
What did Austin say about it?
I wouldn't worry too much about that. Right now, tag team titles here defended in our main event. The professional Paul Michaels and Toddy Tondera. Anti-Hero. Big boot to the face of Sammy Suntheimer.
Yeah, the real headline is that the championship reign of Psychedelic Dreams is possibly in jeopardy here. Isolated into that Anti-Hero corner, making use of everything. They're making use of the 5 count. They're making use of Gunnar Bergman in the corner. Frequent tags. And Sammy Suntheimer is in a bad way here. And you have to believe that William Porter is loving it back home watching this event.
And Aaron Daniel Norman is a tag team specialist. Has had 5 different tag team partners, but the most cohesive, the longest partner that he has had is that of Saturn Price and Anti-Hero. Oh, looking for the Galaxy DDT! Plants Adrien, but Saturn Price is right there.
And there was a legal tag made, so Saturn Price is the legal competitor for Anti-Hero, so well within his rights to do all of this.
Sammy Suntheimer also well into his rights to tag in. Alao Dreams. And like a meteor falling from the sky, Alao Dreams is on fire right now. Ooh!
Rare miscommunication from Anti-Hero.
In any other warehouse in the world, Anti-Hero would be favored in a competition like this. But at 880 Wrestling on a Thursday night in Pittsburgh, the champions have this audience. Wow! Gigantic cutter! 1, 2, oh, a super dream catcher. Was almost a nightmare for Saturn. We're getting to the hot and humid season in Pittsburgh. We're hot, we're sticky, we're sweaty. And Micky. Well, you heard it, Paul. They said back in control.
Have to kind of give somewhat of an assist to Gunnar Bergman there. Gunnar Bergman able to warn Adrien on the outside. That tandem offense from Psychedelic Dreams was coming. Kind of gave Adrien the idea to get in there and break that up. So even when Gunnar Bergman doesn't directly physically get involved, he's an extra pair of eyes out there around the ring.
What the size of Gunnar Bergman.
Another miscue.
Oh. Firing shots at Sammy. Sammy making sure Alao is awake. And look at this. In the trenches of this tag team championship, Psychedelic Dreams is starting to come together here, Paul.
Staggering Aaron Daniels with those strikes, but he's still on his feet.
Oh, cover. Wait a second. Oh! All the way from heaven to hell, a big choke slam, and all four bodies crumpled for this main event.
Certainly an effective way to break up that would-be pen attempt, but now everyone will have to recollect themselves, and which team will get to their feet first?
And this is when battles are lost in one. There's a lot of style, there's a lot of pizzazz to how Psychedelic Dreams conducts themselves in a squared circle. But at this point in the competition, it is stiff blows. Nothing pretty about this. Ripcord. Oh, caught. Oh, roll through. Duck under. Oh. And Zaguri from the basement. Brain buster.
That's where you see the decade plus of experience for Aaron Daniel Norman really start to take shape.
Oh! Pulling out all the stops as Alao Dreams. Oh! Gigantic boot. In jeopardy of those tag team championships. Release Blue Thunderbomb. They prove their point everywhere they go. Will it be in Pittsburgh tonight that they carry the gold?
This is a losing battle here, I
think Saturn's going to agree with you. Got to give it to young Alao and Sammy Suntheimer and Psychedelic Dreams. They're not afraid of anybody.
Not at all.
Oh! Connection! You feel that energy, Paul?
Saturn's all by himself. He's dazed.
You know, you said iron sharpens iron, but in the city of Pittsburgh, steel sharpens steel! But it's looking too sharp for the Psychedelic Prince right now. Oh, this looks to be academic at this point. Cover, 1, 2, and oh! 2 count! My goodness!
Sammy able to save the tag team title reign kind of by himself there. Alao was not in position to break up that 3 count, but thankfully for Psychedelic Dreams didn't need to be.
Can Anti-Hero add another tag team championships to that 7-title mantle at home? Right now, separated between one another are Adrien and Saturn Price.
I think that's got to be the game plan that Psychedelic Dreams needs here. They need to stick together and isolate the 2 members of Anti-Hero from each other. take away some of that power-based tandem offense.
Well, to your credit, Paul, I think they had the right move, but Saturn Price was walking himself in, and Alao is going to make sure that Saturn is out here. But it's Gunner, it's the Viking Rover. Come on now, this is a 3-on-2, three of the biggest dudes in the world. There we go. Wait, cover, he's rolled up, 2. Is that, oh goodness, 2 count. Oh, big half and half T-bone on the top of the head. Oh, there's a lull in the room. Tag is made.
Can you feel this, Toddy?
Dragon! Red Dragon that has taken down so many. I don't know if Sammy even intended to do that. I think he slipped from all the sweat. Oh, around and around we go. Face first on the canvas goes Adrien. That's going to leave Alao and Sammy in there with Saturn. Tripping down the big man. Super kicks from the basement in stereo. An opening. Through the galaxy, through the Steel City. Covered by Sammy. 2, and they did it! They did it!
Here are your winners! IndyWrestling Tag Team Champions! Psychedelic!
What a main event on Thursday Night Fights this week! Psychedelic Dreams retains the 880 Tag Team Championships. My good, wait. Wait a second here. KPK, Robbie Hollywood. Oh my goodness. My goodness gracious. I'm sure at the behest of William Porter, who is a known Neil O'Donnell fan, Team Canada attacking 2 of our boys in our barn.
Getting some revenge for your horrible comments 2 weeks ago on commentary.
Horrible? You're 880 Wrestling too. They aren't. Oh, Alao and Sammy laid out. Wait.
What do we have here?
DOJ, I think, are returning the favor from earlier on. There we go. There we go. KPK, DOJ. And Hybrid Championship Wrestling better take a big look at their computer screens right now. Uh-oh. Oh, DOJ looking for that T-pop drop. And look who's begging off now, Mr. Professional.
Save some energy for Saturday, April 25th, Pittsburgh versus Canada. I know that's not something that you would understand since you have nothing to do with that event.
Well, be that as it may, Austin Carnes and myself will not be a part of next week's programming of 880 Wrestling, but I'll tell you what, you keep this headset full, and I'll tell you what, you remember what you've done to cross Austin and I. Uh-oh.
What do we have here? Certainly no love lost between these 2 teams.
DOJ simply out here to back 880 Wrestling and return the favor. Uh-oh. Well, when it comes to Pittsburgh versus Canada in 8 days, our blood bleeds black and gold. From the professional Paul Michaels, I'm Toddy Tondera. Get roached.